everyone, and welcome to the Editor's Desk with David DePino. We're going to be talking a lot about music and a little bit about real estate on the show today. And without further ado, I'm going to start out with just Joe Cotton because that's the way we're going to start. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm good, David. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for joining us. So you have a brand new album out. I got to listen to it a bunch of times. I'm calling it a musical masterpiece with your non-fictional persona because I know you've lived a life with Joe Cotton. So it's rock and roll, it's blues, it's soul, it's classic rock, it's a little bit of everything. Joe Cotton just released his album, My Place, on CD, which I'm lucky to have here. And the CD's not in there because it's riding around in my truck all the time. We're going to get to that. And then also on vinyl, so we're gonna show you where to get that as well, and it's My Place. Mr. Joe Cotton, tell us a little bit about the album, how it came about, and we'll really get deep into the tracks.
Well, I've been awful fortunate, David. I was doing a show at the Arts Garage here in Delray, and Richard Rappaport opened that show for us, and he was an attorney in the music industry, and after the show, he introduced himself a second time to me and asked me if the songs we were performing were mine, how many of them were mine, and had I ever worked with a producer, and could he maybe help with that? I said yes, and off we went to making the Joe Cotton Band record. Richard took me down to Miami to meet Rudy Perez, who in turn turned me on to his son, Chris Price, who produced the record. And I think it came out fantastic. I love every song on it, and I can't wait to do another.
Yeah, I second that as well. I was actually at that Arts Garage show in 2017, sitting a little bit of stage left, did an article for the Delray newspaper. It was an amazing show. People are still talking about that as well as the one I missed at the Crest Theater, but I know we'll all get back to that in the future. One of the reasons I really wanted to have you on my show is I just read an article by a doctor at Michigan State University talking. People are asking, can they get back out to the pool? Can they get back out to the beach? Can they go places? And the reason I wanted to have you on is I'm going to tell everyone why I think every song on this album is a single, but there's a song called A1A, and if you're track number 4, and if you're from South Florida or you've lived here for any amount of time, you've been on A1A and US 1. And I think it's a good time for people to start venturing out safely by taking a car ride, maybe put the windows halfway down, put on a good album like this, and cruise down A1A. And you had this before this pandemic even happened. You had already written A1A, surf song. Let's start there. Tell us a little about that song and what locales it takes us from, because I know it takes us from the south and the Deerfield Beach area north, right?
I think Lantana, Manalapan, and as far north of the towns I mentioned, and Deerfield maybe the furthest south. I imagine I could rewrite the song for any stretch of that gorgeous road. That was a dare from another musician we were playing with. Said to me, "I want you to write a Beach Boys song." And I said, "Well, the Beach Boys wrote all the Beach Boys songs. I don't really want to write a Beach Boys song." And he said, "Come on, it's easy." "Oh, it's easy, is it?" "Well, all right." So a day later, A1A was done, and it did sound a little bit or a lot like a Beach Boys tune. And it ended up being the last song that I put on the record because it was gnawing at me how much I liked it. It was this perfectly cute little 1 to 2 minute song, and it really was one of these things you'd listen to in a car and get an earworm out of. So I took it to Chris and said, "Listen, I want to add this at the end here. Can we put this on the record?" And he said, "Yeah, and you're right. It does sound an awful lot like a Beach Boys song. Let's fix it." And I think it's a cross between the Kinks and the Ramones, racing down A1A with a giant grin on your face. I love it.
I think you're right, and I love it too. It's one of my favorites on the album. It's Joe Cotton. He's got a new album out called My Place. It's the joecottonband.com is where you're going to find that. Mr. Joe Cotton's also a realtor. We're going to get to that in a bit. Like I said, I'm teasing them to get to that realty because you do so much, and that's how we kind of got connected. But the first thing I said to you after I listened to this album twice, I said, I think this song is a hit. I had my favorite song. And the first thing you said back to me is, all my friends and everyone who gets to touch this album and listens to it, they all have one song that they come back to me and say, that's a hit. So that is really, a great thing to have the community come back to you with that kind of feedback, because there's 11 songs on this album. And my wife and I listen to it, and we think every single song is a hit. And I hope everyone, gets their hands on this so they can tell us what their hits are.
I can't thank you enough for that, David. There's kind of a two-part answer to that. The songs come from everything I've listened to growing up and everything that I liked that I listened to. So it stretches from country to all country, reggae, blues, hard rock, metal. If there was a genre I could put my hands on, I spent time with it. So I think what I write is a reflection on all of that. And at the same time, being an original band almost the entire time I've been performing with people, it was always important to play original music that people got, liked, and that we respected and liked. I couldn't just play anything. If I write a song that doesn't feel right or doesn't work, it dies on the vine. In fact, they actually don't get written. I'll stop. I'll ignore it until it can become something a lot more viable and friendly, user-friendly, if you will. And then part two is that because I touch on all those things, there's like something for everyone. And I'm not bothered by that because I like them all too. They're like all the different kids. You've got the redheaded kid, you've got the black-haired kid, you've got the blonde kid, you've got the girls, the boys, and then the dogs and the cats, and they're all here running around the house, and you love them all. So that's the 11 songs on the record. And I think that gives everybody something to find.
Yeah, starting out with the first song, I mean, it's a song, Cage I Rattle. It's something that you could tune on 104.3 The Shark, and it'd be similar to something you'd hear in a modern way. And I'm not saying that, it's definitely original, and I'm not saying like, it sounds like anyone, but it sounds very modern. But then there's songs, like you said, that have a little touch of classic rock, a little reggae. What I'm getting to is there's something for everyone on this album. And I think if, now we all have a little bit more time to take a ride in the car, to get out, to spend some time listening to creative or, looking into creative sources. And I think everyone should check this album out. Again, it's joecottonband.com. So tell us they can order the album right then and there, and I guess it's sent to them?
Right on the website. It takes them through to Bandcamp, and that sends it to me, and then I can send them out. Absolutely.
Nice. And you still have vinyl and CD available?
Vinyl and CD. I'll put the buttons and the T-shirts and everything up there, and we'll make it all available for everyone.
I'm still trying to win that button and T-shirt from that question, but we'll take that offline. I'm still listening for that. I know.
T-shirt.
I think I know that at the beginning of the track, but I'm not sure, so I'm waiting until I'm definitely sure, like Final Jeopardy.
And I don't know if I want to share it here because it's a really cool thing to not know what it is. And actually, that brings me to the other part of the question you just answered, too, because that noise and a lot of other things, in fact, the reason I think the record's as good as it is because I spent time with Chris Price. He understood everything I wanted to make out of a record, and being younger than I am and leaning into the future of everything that music is, but at the same time being sensitive to everywhere I come from, he was able to take my songs and give them a life I hadn't anticipated. And really, it was so easy to get excited about them all over again.
And Chris Price is the producer on the album. It's Joe Cotton. The album's My Place. Again, joecottonband.com. I always read a lot about recordings and albums. It's something I'm really like fascinated in the process. Now, I know when bands, like prolific bands and players like yourself, you bring a lot to the table. Are there any B-sides that maybe didn't make the album or something, some
I'm
stuff
losing you,
that
Dave.
are in the can?
There you go. No, I just got you back.
Okay, yeah, I'll just be brief. So I know when prolific songwriters and bands write, they bring a lot to the table before they record. Is there anything in the can that didn't make the album B-side wise?
I could talk to you all day. It's like you're sitting here in my kitchen. That's another great question, and everything comes with a story too. Because we were at rehearsal a couple of weeks ago, and the other guitar player in the band is also a singer-songwriter, and he looked at me and he said, "Yeah, you've got yourself a pretty good record, but what do you plan to do next? I mean, not everybody has a follow-up." I've kind of been sitting on this stack of songs for years now. I've got about 5 albums of what I think are equally good songs, just sitting on a shelf, ready to go. I can't wait to get back to Miami and start working with Chris and the crowd down there again. I'm looking at doing a 45 for Christmas next year. I have a great Christmas song, and I'll have the B-side possibly be a really cool reggae tune. And yeah, no, there's plenty of work to back this one up with.
Again, joecottonband.com. Grab this album, take a listen. I think you're going to love it. There's a little bit for everyone and every genre on it. I can't wait to see you. I told you this personally, that see you in live show again. I know we're still getting back to the swing of things, and we're going to get back into what you do as well. But any ideas for maybe a virtual show, or have you already done that, or is that something you're just waiting a little bit?
I'm considering it. I just started working with my piano player, Peter Rice, who's a good friend and lives around the corner. He's the one I did the Twice video with, and we were able to kind of keep rehearsing, and we're able to use my place, if you will, to create something. So we may put a camera in there at some point and give some folks a chance to see some newer tunes or a couple of the old ones. In the meantime, I'm also still planning to get back to the benefits we had planned, and one of which is at the Delray Playhouse, for the Delray Playhouse and for Unity School here in Delray Beach. So, I don't want to let that go by the wayside, and I think we're trying to regroup that show for fall sometime.
Oh, that's great. Just let us know, and we'll get the word out for sure, because that is going to be great for the community. And you did mention Twice. It's it's a great tune. It's the third song on the album. So you guys put a video out. That's fantastic.
We have a video for Twice and a video for A1A.
Nice. People can find that on your Facebook page or the website?
Both on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube as well.
Hey, this is going to be on YouTube, so it's all full circle.
Fantastic.
Again, here with Joe Cotton, joecottonband.com. I want to kind of turn the page here and go in a different direction. So we met. I was a reporter. I still am, in Delray Beach, and we met years ago. You're a realtor coming to the area. I've known you for a few years now, and first thing I found out about you is you're 10. Yeah, wow, it's been that long. A family man. You're a family man. I always say that. I always think of you like that, you and your wife. And I know you have some exciting news. You've done a lot with your son, and then recently you have a new addition to the family. And it was one of the coolest things I've seen during this whole thing on social media was when you had done a Zoom meeting or a GoToMeeting or whatever it was with a judge to adopt your new daughter. So congratulations. Tell us a little bit about that story.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah, that's cool too. We had Ethan when we got here. We were able to adopt him through family when the opportunity came to us, and we just couldn't say no. And a few years later, his sister was born, and we stayed in touch with the family and with her parents, who were my family too, and waited and watched and kept an eye on them. And when it became impossible for them to carry on, we were able to take her with us as well, and that's our daughter Chloe. And the adoption went hard during all this COVID-19, and we did a Zoom meeting with a judge up in the Daytona area, Jacksonville, and now I have a daughter. So yes, I'm a family man. I'm a family man. There's kids running every which way.
I know, and you probably hear my daughter in the background. She didn't get to nap on time, so we have ambient sound. That's what we go with. And you're a musician, and when you play live, you get feedback, right?
It's great ambient sound. I've really grown to love it. You know, they work together like brother and sister, and it started immediately. They've known each other the whole time, but I think having each other together all the time, it's a new life for them, and it's really benefiting both of them quite a bit.
And let's talk about your main life. So I know you as Steve Martell. That's the realtor in Delray Beach, and your wife Lori, wonderful realtor as well. Wonderful people. All got to know you even more when you visited. My wife's green market stand when you guys would come through every Saturday and say hello. So tell us a little bit about your business, your realty, how you started, where you're at today, because you're in your portfolio of homes right now. The stuff I'm seeing is just, skyrocketed from where you started, and they were nice homes when you started, but you're selling $1 million homes right now.
$3 million homes.
Great.
I'll tell you, I guess I'll start with one of the first sentences I tossed at you earlier. We're fortunate. We work really hard, and it brings what it should. And we've had a really good go of it here in Delray. Lori and I have been realtors for 25 years together. 15 in New England, where we were selling beautiful homes in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. And coming here, we committed ourselves to the same program. Moving to the Lake Ida neighborhood, fantastic. We love being here. We're surrounded by nice folks, and we're working with nice folks. Meeting Steve Petrucci at Bella Homes and developing a relationship with him has been phenomenal. The homes are nicer than anything else on the market. I have no trouble selling them. I love presenting them. And along with those homes, we're continuously picking up other gorgeous homes in our area and giving them to folks that would love to have them.
Now, do you have a specific target area? And also the second part of that question, can you sell anywhere in Florida or elsewhere?
And that's a great question. I love that question. The target area is really kind of working where we live, because it's the area I know best. So I don't want to tell somebody that I can give them phenomenal service in a place I'm just not familiar with. So we really want to be able to say, yes, we're giving you 100%. And for that, we work mainly up and down A1A, up and down Federal, up and down the eastern section of these towns, and pretty much from Boca, Highland Beach, up through Manalapan, Santana, etc. At the same time, Lori and I never felt like we worked for a dollar amount or a particular place. We also will work for a person that we feel we can help. So if a friend, relative, neighbor, somebody comes to us and says, I need to accomplish this with real estate, can you help? We'll look at it, and if it's something we can do, we'll absolutely do it for them. And if we can't, we'll refer them to somebody that can.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like, and I know from your reputation, you have the expertise and experience, to help people live their dream. I mean, that's what it is, owning a home. It's living the American dream. We should put that, the American dream. Definitely.
Right on.
Definitely. Give us some info if people are wondering how to get in touch with you, if they're interested in a home or selling a home.
Well, you'll find us at StephenLaurieMartell.com or 561-573-3728. We'll get you my phone.
Okay, I have that here. Again, it's Steve and LaurieMartell.com. It's Steve and LaurieMartel.com. I always spell it out because, doing the show for 5 years, these kind of shows, people will call me back and say, hey, I heard that show that you interviewed this person in 2017. I have it here. I archived it. I'm going back. Can you tell me again that info? And they actually go back and look into it. Same with old newspaper articles. I get a call a couple times a year about an article back in 2007 or 8, and they're asking me about it. You know, the great creative
nice
area here.
Yep. Yeah, it really is. It truly is.
Yeah, it really is. So yeah, we've talked about a lot, and I like connecting with you because you're a hard worker. You're in your field and your craft, but then you also have the music side of things too, which I can kind of really relate to. You know, because I'm big into music. I don't know if a lot of people know from me just interviewing doctors on the radio, but I play a little guitar, and it's something that I've always been a fan of since I was 15 years old. How long have you been playing? I never asked you that, believe it or not.
I started playing clarinet in 4th grade, and by 15 years old, had a guitar and was in a band. And the songwriting started almost immediately with trying to work out original material in those first high school bands. We played all of our favorite covers because we suddenly were able to. But right away, it came with, hey, let's try to write a song as cool as one of those.
Yeah, definitely. And you actually,
sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, you told me in the past that you once recorded at Sun Studios in Memphis, which I came right back to the story that I had actually got to go into Sun Studio. I was amazed at how small it was, but it's an older studio. But tell us about that experience. That's where kind of Elvis kind of just.
It was really cool. Yes, Elvis. Well, that's the weird part about being there. If you've been and you realize that the studio part never changed. They basically filled it with boxes, and when they decided to make the museum out of it, they moved the boxes, and the studio was all still there. We met some people at a bar on Beale Street whose bass player hadn't shown up, and they started getting along with some other folks we were with, and it was about midnight. And they said, we have Sun booked, but our bass player's not here. And one of our friends said, well, my friend can play bass. And that guy said, no, not me. You should take Steve. And they said, we'll take all of you. And all of a sudden, we were all off to Sun to play with a blues band from Chicago that had booked the room. If I made a mistake, it was because I was standing there staring at the wall, trying to accept that that's where I was standing at 2 a.m. And it was really, really cool. They invited us back a couple times, and we've done it 3 times now. Gone back on Labor Day weekend, booked Sun Studio, and done some recording. The second time we went, they let me do a few of my original tunes, so I've got a couple of those from Sun. It was a hell of an experience.
Yeah, it really was. We got about 2 minutes left, so again, it's JoeCottonBand.com. Steve Martell here is a realtor. He's also Joe Cotton, and we'll have to do another whole show about how you know that name, but we'll get there. JoeCottonBand.com, 561-573-3728. We talked about Chris Price, an amazing producer, actually plays on this album, and everyone should just grab the album just to read the liner notes and what's in the lyrics. It's really neat and great music as well. Tell us, we got about a minute left. Tell us a little bit about Bullseye Studio there in Miami where you recorded.
Well, that's actually Rudy Perez's home studio. So there were phenomenal opportunities to sit and chat with Rudy, who would just come and go and grin at what we were accomplishing in the control room. And the players around there are the nicest people in the world. I think all right, I'll give you that. My favorite thing about being in that room was the attitude that there were no wrong answers. There was no bad vibe. Anything that was offered was accepted with a kind heart and a big smile. Everything you could try if you wanted to get something in the world. Anybody that came in with an idea was given a shot to throw it at the wall. It was great. The experience was incredible.
Well, I can't thank you enough, Joe Cotton. Steve Martell again, 561-573-3728. JoeCottonBand.com for the realtor. It's SteveandLoriMartell.com. This has been amazing. I've always wanted to, sit down and interview you and record it. So this is really neat. I got to do my recording. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much, David. Thank you so much.
And everyone, check out the album. It's Joe Cotton. It's My Place there. Let me move my finger if you're watching at home. Great album, joecottonband.com. And we'll see you next time on the Editor's Desk with David DePino.